All right, man. Stoked to meet you. Glad that we made this connection work and that you're here on the show. This is so super cool. Just excited to learn about your story and get into it. So, why did you decide to go to NLC, and what was your experience there like?
So I had a buddy of mine that I used to work with at AT&T DirecTV that really encouraged me to go to NLC. It did take him a while to convince me because I didn't know what was going on or what NLC was or what lineman work was. So he finally brought up the figures. He's like, "Look, they make this much money a year," and I was like, "Okay, now you're talking."
Yeah.
so, so I was like, "All right, let's give this a shot. I'm single. I don't have kids. I don't have a house. I'm just roaming around. I don't care. Let's give it a try and see where I land in my life." So I decided to go to NLC. It was an amazing experience. I loved it. I was mind blown at what I was learning. I love what just everything about it, especially climbing, right? Everyone gets excited for climbing. Best part. I had an unfortunate accident when I was there. We were doing up downs and we're racing, coming up and down fast. And on one of them, I think I stepped too low. And when I hooked, I busted a disc on my back. I got a herniated disc. So for about 2 weeks, I didn't go to the school. I was out. I was at the room that I was renting, and my body was completely leaned forward, and I was like that for 2 weeks straight. But I had nothing else to do, so I told myself, I got to get through this. I went to my doctor's appointment, chiropractor, whatever, and 2 weeks later, I went back to the school. I knocked it off. There's a lot of people in there that'll motivate you. The instructors are really, really good with you. They're nice. They're actually pretty funny, and you know how it is out there. They'll yell at you, but if you do what you got to do, then they'll show some respect and have a good time. So I loved it. One of the biggest things that I loved though was the transformer connections. Right, we have four of them. So the Delta Delta YY Delta Wye Delta, which is by far my favorite one. And that's one of the reasons why I chose the name for my business, because I love the logo too. I love the logo and I love the name.
That's so dope.
It was an amazing experience there.
Um, Coming out of NLC, you lots of people have. I hear this online all the time, and you probably do as well. Lots of people coming out of NLC are like, I can't find a job. It's so hard to find a job, so hard to get into the industry. What was your experience like going to school, coming out, and trying to get into the trade, actually into the trade?
You know what? That was one of my biggest fears because I've heard that before. Everyone had talked about it in school. It's so hard to get in with Edison, PG&E, DWAP, or anything out here in California. So the instructors always recommended to travel. And I remember, a month before I graduated, I started looking at jobs outside of California. So there was this company out in Colorado that they were in need for 12 guys. And, I contacted the guy and I asked him like, hey, I'm going to graduate in the next month. It was a pre-apprentice job. I was like, I'm interested in doing the apprenticeship with you guys. What do you need from me? He's like, dude, we need you right now. Like, if you leave school right now, just come with us and bring 11 guys. And I was like, well, I can't. I was like, I'm not going to leave school. He's like, no, don't worry. Once you get your lineman card, you're good to go. Like, you don't need the school. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take this leap of faith. I'm just going to ask my instructor. So I go up to Travis and I say, hey, I got offered a job as a pre-apprentice already in Colorado. They were working in Texas, but the company was from Colorado. It was called Altitude Energy, by the way. And, I went out there. Well, actually, I didn't go. I went out there to ask Travis, one of my instructors, and he said, no. He said, finish the school. Believe it. He's like, don't worry, that job, I guarantee you'll still be there as soon as you graduate. And yeah, as soon as I graduated, the guy kept calling me. He's like, hey, dude, like, did you graduate already? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, do you have guys that want to come out? Of course, I met a bunch of friends out there. I met a lot of guys. And I said, hey, I got 11 guys ready to go. So we all took off. Like, I will say a week after we graduated, we went home, grabbed our stuff, and straight drove to Texas and started working on towers. We did a lot of tiny bolts, really. That's all it was. We were going tower by tower, climbing all the way to the top, coming down.
It's a great job for pre-apprentices too, right? Like
right.
tower
Oh my
climbing,
God.
climbing every day.
I wasn't prepared for all that zapping because the lines were energized. We had 325 kV, we had 550 kV, and I was like, we had those big torque wrenches. So we put them on our tool belt, and they gave us static gloves and socks. Yeah. They didn't give us shorts or pants. So every time
touch your knees or the inside of your leg.
Oh man. And then, you know, once you're up there, your buddy's climbing right next to you. You just grab your little wrench. You're like, there you go, bud. It was amazing. It was fun. At that moment, I had already had enough fun for me to be like, I love this game. I love this industry. I want to continue doing what I'm doing. And yeah, it was a little scary not knowing what was going to happen, but I think I did a good research before graduating to where I can land that job. And luckily, the IBEW at the time, Local 47 and 1245, they probably had like 43, maybe 50 members waiting. As of today, you have like 200-300 people waiting on book 3. So yeah, it was different from back then, but I was lucky to go ahead and find a pre-apprentice job.
So you get into that job. When that job ends, is that it? You're done? You're out of the company? Or is it like, where do you go from there?
So what we all did, I want to say like out of 11 of us, probably like 8 of us went and signed the books for Local 47 and 1245. And we were on standby because we wanted to be home.
Sure.
Right? Everybody wants to work in California where you're from. So some signed the books, some didn't. And those who signed the book, within 2 weeks, we had already gotten a call to go work as contractors in Southern California. So we grabbed their stuff and left. The guys that didn't, they went back to Colorado and continued working out in Colorado.
What year is this?
I did. This was in 2017, right when I graduated. So I graduated in November. I think it was November 17th. Like a week after that, I was already in Texas. So before the end of the year, I was already in Local 47.
Was that the year of the fires? I can't remember exactly when like the big Cali fires were happening.
It was the following year, 2018. Okay. Yeah, it was 2018, because I got a call from 1245, so I had to go up north and work for a company called Current America. We're doing a lot of EV charging stations, you know, digging the hose, digging trenches, and doing all that construction work. So I just did it. I went anywhere just to get my hours, you know. So as soon as you hit that 1,000 hours, then you can hit book 1. And being in book 1 is like gold. Back then it was. Now I was like, good luck.
Well, no, you say that
like
now.
200. Yeah, good luck, man.
Dude, you could really be on book 25 like back in 2018 and you'd still get called out. Like it's pretty crazy.
There was a lot of call outs during that time of the year. But, you know, of course, that was a short time of period. Luckily for me, actually, when I got a call for EPC, Edison Power Construction, it was a little bit after the fires were done. So we're just going out there, replacing poles, running new lines, doing bird wire, which is covered wire. So I got the good end of it, I want to say. And it was, oh my God, it was amazing. We're always by the beach. We had a beautiful view. We're working right off the Highway 1, just, you know, beach view all day long. And you're on double time. It's just amazing. Guys are nice. Oh my God, I loved it.
That's what I tell people is like, there's almost nothing better. And like when I think about my time in the field, I always think about those days where, like, for me, it wasn't necessarily the beach because I wasn't near the ocean, but it was in the mountains, right? Like in the mountains of BC, you get dropped off on some tower, super remote, by a helicopter with you and the fellas, and it's silent for a while, and it's just you guys in this tower, and it's peaceful, and you just take a second to look out, and you're like, damn, that view's pretty dope. Like,
you might even work an extra 2 hours. Why not?
Oh man,
just sitting there.
It was so
take your
fun.
lunch up there.
Oh yeah,
it's with you it's amazing
all the time.
But you always gotta be careful in the mountains. Though when we were working in Topanga Canyon, it's a little bit off the coast. You know, we worked rich neighborhoods, and people would always come out complaining, "When is my power gonna come back up?" And we're just like, "Dude, just let us do our job here, huh?" Like.
Yeah, you got that problem in California. We don't have too many people in the mountains in BC. If you find somebody,
you block their driveway just an inch, and it's already like a big deal. And it's But you know, prior to all this stuff, they do warn you. You know, when this happens, they say, hey, just make sure if somebody comes out, let the foreman handle it. Don't go out there and start arguing with the customer. Just, you know, let it be gone.
What's some advice then for people handling a situation like that? What's some things that your foreman do to smooth that over and talk to these people?
Oh, you gotta kiss ass.
Yeah.
You gotta kiss ass. Yeah, you can't. You have to sweet talk them. I know. I hear a lot of times foremen or linemen, they get mad and angry and they yell at customers. Which, depending on where you're at, it's okay. But there, it was very, very. Don't say anything. Let the foreman go up there and handle it. So the foreman would confront them, be like, "Hey, how you guys doing? You know, apologize for the inconvenience and do the whole, you know, apology, and then let them know what's going on." Now, if the customer got a little aggressive, then you have to kind of like meet their tone, because also you can't let them get over you. That was one of the things that they told you. When they start raising their tone and they don't get it, you know, get right there with them.
Yeah.
Right. Like, don't go past them, but just let them know that you're not gonna take it either.
Sure.
So that's always a good way to go about it. Yeah.
You top out. When did you top out?
I never topped out, actually.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. I had So when I went back to the apprenticeship, I was always climbing, and as soon as I climbed, my back started hurting, and I went back to my body leaning forward. So this was when I was a contractor. So when I got hired at Southern California Edison, I told myself, I'm gonna give it one more chance. So I remember I was working, and this is completely outside of work. I left work. You know, my buddies asked me if I wanted to go dirt bike riding. We went out, and I'm trying to kickstart a dirt bike, and that kicking, like, it wouldn't start. That kicking, 3 herniated discs, and from that day I was off for, like, I want to say 9 months, and my body was completely sideways for 6 months straight. Like, I couldn't walk, dude. I couldn't sleep. I think I went the longest night I went without sleeping was probably like 36, 37 hours, because I just couldn't sleep. It was so painful. And ever since, I told myself, you know, I can't, I won't be able to do it. I knew I wanted to get married and have kids, so I put that over, you know, trying to risk my back even more. And also the doctors told me, hey, can't climb no more. I play a lot of sports. I like take it easy on sports as well, which it's a bummer, but it's a reality. You know, there's nothing else. And at this point, I had already started Wye Delta, so I told myself I won't leave the industry because I'm still there, but I will pursue the Wye Delta business and continue to provide a good quality product for the guys.
So,
you know,
before I ask you about starting Wye Delta, because I know that's going to lead down a whole road that I'm super interested in. What point are you at now, and what are you still doing in the industry, and what part of it do you like?
So right now I'm a groundman. I'm still as a groundman. I did try to become a pole inspector, but Edison took a step down on hiring and paused a lot of jobs. So I'm just waiting for that position to come up, or just eventually, like I said, do full time on Wye Delta. But I enjoy what I do right now because it's my main focus is preset transformers, pat mounts. We do street lights, and it's still some line work in, you know, related. But unfortunately, I won't be able to climb anymore, and that's one of the biggest bummers that I've had. You know, because I did want to have that ticket. You know, I wanted to have that freedom. Right now, that's the only thing holding me back from retiring my career, that I don't have a ticket to come back and say, okay, this didn't work, so I'm back. You know, once I leave, I know I have to wait on that list of 300 groundmen just trying to get in, and I'm like, dang, that's gonna suck. So I have to make sure that the ball's rolling good and I have a firm foundation before I can just walk out of this industry.
But I love that, like, I try to talk about this all the time because I am super passionate about entrepreneurism as well. I got that running through my veins. My father was an entrepreneur and a lineman, and I love that people now more than ever can, like, take an idea like yours and run with it. I had Landon Dees in here about a month ago with Linework Bucket Products. I've talked to a bunch of other guys in the industry that are like, hey, I got an idea. Let's make something out of it. And so tell me about like how Wye Delta came about, why, like where'd the idea come from, and yeah, run with that.
Of course. So when I was in NLC, one of the instructors came in to do a motivational speech. One of them, which was the Ox Blocks. What was his name again?
Mark Groves.
Mark Groves. So he graduated from Oroville Northwest Lineman College. And when that story was told, I always kept that in the back of my head. So a little bit prior to that, I was always like a go-getter when it came down to working. So I would go and hustle for cars. I'd buy cars and I resell them. And I always had that in the back of my mind where I wanted to do something more than just work a 9 to 5. I knew that for a fact. So when that story was told, I told myself I would go out there and find a lack of safety, a lack of equipment, which there was a lot. Every day we come up with new stuff that's like, whoa, this could have been nice in 1998 or something, you know? So nowadays it's still happening where guys are coming up with tools and safety equipment that's a lot better than what we had before. So when I was at EPC, we were right by the beach. It was hot all the time. So I remember getting those flimsy sunglasses and I'd put them on. They'd get scratched super easy. And then the sweat would come down the lens all the time. And I hated that. So I went out and I bought my personal pair. Then also I thought it's too cheap, too flimsy. And me and my buddy were sitting in the bucket truck, on hurry up and wait, one of those situations. And I told him, I was like, hey, dude, we should, start a sunglasses product, man. Let's do something good, something that people are going to like, not just pay $100 and then, this is going to go to shit. Excuse my language. So, we talked about it. We joked about it and it became a joke, right? Oh, tax write-offs, we'll write off this, we'll write off that. A truck, we got all hyped up all the time. And one day we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. And we were there from opening to close. We were drinking all morning, all afternoon, up until they said, hey, you guys got to go. But that day was the day that me and him said, you know what, let's do this. So me and him booked a trip to Hong Kong overseas and met with over 800 manufacturers and just went, looking for what we wanted and what we needed. And finally we came across something. Again, this experience was, oh my God, unbelievable. And yeah, that's how it became about. I mean, it was such a great experience.
What is that experience like? Because I've also been curious about that as well. Like, okay, let's book a trip to Hong Kong. Where do you start with that? How did you know where to start, who to talk to, where to go? Like, how does that even begin?
Yeah, Google, right? So
yeah.
I'm on Google and I'm searching how to make more money, how to not pay taxes, right? How can I avoid paying all these taxes? Because again, I was single. I was making so much money. We're on double time half the time. We're working 100+ hours a week. So I found this link, this website that said these are all kinds of expos for anything you want. I mean, we're talking watches, we're talking gym stuff, we're talking cell phone cases, we're talking sunglasses, clothing, I mean, accessories, wine, I mean, you name it. And I saw the sunglasses there and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And it was a 3-day event in Hong Kong. So again, me and my buddy were talking about it, but we never really, it was a scary moment. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just winging it, Yeah. So we decided to go ahead and fly out there and give this thing a shot. And I remember, we showed up and we showed up to the convention center the first day. Everybody's wearing a suit and tie, they're all dressed up, and me and him are wearing a t-shirt, a hat, and shorts and jeans, and just, we're like, dude, I don't think we belong here. Everybody looked at us like, what do these guys want? And but that's okay though. I told them, don't worry about it. Tomorrow, we'll go out and buy some clothes and look a little better. Try to do better. So, we went through all 3 days, and finally we found a manufacturer that fit our needs. But again, we lacked knowledge. So when we picked the first pair of glasses, we thought, oh, these are nice, but we never thought about, hey, let's wear them for a month. Let's take them out to work for a month and see how they feel, if they actually work, if they're worth it or not. We didn't do any of that. So we went and bought our first batch of sunglasses. We went out, sold them, and the problem was the glasses were sliding off people's nose when they sweat. And I was like, dude, we created a bigger problem. We're supposed to fix it. So then it cost, right? But that's trial and error. right now, like I said, we're working on a new molds, new sunglasses styles that are gonna knock everything out of the waters. I personally, when we had the mistake, I sat down and I thought to myself, what can I do to better our safety sunglasses that's related to us? So you know what a conductor is, right? So I sat down and I drew out a pair of glasses myself. And I'm going to show you these right here. These are called conductors. So as you can see, they have a conductor feel and a look to it. All right. So how many times are you out there and you put a cotter pin in your mouth or a nail or a screw or something? So I put a magnet right here in the inside of the frame on both sides. So when you're up there and you're climbing, you got that cotter pin, just slap it on the side. Now, it's not like, oh my God, it's such a strong magnet, but it worked. It was something that's industry related, that we understand what conductor is. And best of all, the color of it was that silver gray. They call it gunmetal.
Love it.
And that was my first design that I physically drew out. And ever since, I was like, I got to do more of this stuff. And it gets harder, it gets harder and harder at the time. And there's stuff that I've come up with, and it's already patent. And I'm like, damn, they beat me to it. But
what is it like working, like, explain that process a little bit, just because I'm super interested. Somebody who's like designing and building a product, like, are you working with the manufacturers to do these designs, or do you have to work with somebody completely different to help you design the item?
Yeah. Well, the manufacturer has a fee for mold, whatever that fee is. It includes that the designer, the developer, and the manufacturer of it. So when they say, okay, what do you want? I was like, all right. So then I send them a drawing, a sketch of what I want, and then they send you options. Like, okay, this is, for example, when I chose the front of the lens, they had like 5 different ones. Which one do you want? I was like, this one. And like, all right, the arms, you can choose to have a complete conductor all the way through. But I was like, let's get that little side shield going on right here. So C87 plus. And it's they work with you. They help you, and they put everything into a 3D, and then they 3D print it, send it to you, and then you can try it on physically. And then if you like it, they'll do it. They'll start the mold. But if you don't like it, then you can change minor things until it's completely finished.
And then you get like a few revisions with them and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we go back and forth. It's a process. It takes almost 6, 7, 8 months. So depending on how many changes you want to make in the long run. Then, so right now, if I wanted to change anything with this frame, I'd have to start the process over, and that fee is very expensive. So that happened to some of our glasses. But again, it's trial and error.
How many different frame styles do you have now?
We had 7, but we narrowed it down to 4 because, again, some don't sell. Some styles don't sell. Right now, one of our most popular ones is a high vis. The guys love the big side shield or the big frame.
Yep.
So this is our high vis right here. C87 plus. We use TR90 material, which is very flexible. They don't really break that easy. And that's another thing. We didn't know what TR90 was until our third manufacturer. They're like, hey, you know what TR90 does? And then they go and do this. And I was like, holy snap. They just bent the crap out of our frames. And
that's insane,
snap,
though.
Break. Yeah, so then you start learning about the different types of plastics and materials that they're offering. This frame right here is one of the ones that I sell in bulk. But this one had a problem. So this one had a straight arm. And when you put it on and you put your hard hat on, the glasses will lift up. So then, again, we had to pay to create that curvature, and it's just, but I love it. I love working. I love being busy. I love saying, people email me, hey, your glasses, this and this was different. And when I get that same email over and over again, that's when I know it's time to change. That's where I had to change the size on them, because these were the ones that were sliding off your nose. And so I had to make them smaller and, just trial and error.
Hell yeah. I'm so intrigued by this. Like, it's such a cool thing to do. I like that you could be anybody and just look for some sort of problem to solve and try to figure out how to solve that. And so, like, what's your experience been like with learning like the marketing side as well and the selling side. Like, okay, like you got this entrepreneur brain and you're an ideas person. Obviously you get an idea and you want to perfect that idea. What's that other side been like for you of like marketing and selling and that other business side?
Right. So the other side of it is, what can you do to help a utility, a contractor? So you go up to them and you say, hey, what do you guys need? Or how does your program work? And they'll go off and say, our safety glasses, guys don't want to wear them. I was like, okay, so then you have liabilities. Guys wearing their own product or their own safety sunglasses, it's a liability. I can help you there by giving you something stylish, comfortable, and industry related. So you look for ways to help them, right? Because really you're not just selling a product. Anybody can come up with the product and be like, hey, I have sunglasses. Well, what else can you do to help us now? Because there's plenty of safety sunglasses out there. So then that's what we do. We help them in other ways. So one of our biggest success right now is we have this program where there's this utility up in the East Coast. They're like, hey, guys want the blue lens and they want the other style, the red lens. And I'm like, diversity, right? So I came up with this idea, or actually a good friend of mine in Arkansas came up with the idea, said, hey, can you give us a discount for our employees and they can buy whatever the heck they want? I was like, you know what, that works. It's a win-win. So I made a poster, I made QR code, and it's a partnership. It's like what I do with the premium utility contractors. So now guys go around the yard, they see our posters, our labels, they scan, and now they're buying their own, but the company approved it. And the company's not buying it anymore, the guys are, because you have to wear what the company says, right? So, that's the way that I help them. I help the contractors and I help the guys by having something more fashionable, more comfortable.
I love that too, because like when the contractors buy glasses, for example, like you always got those shitty Smith & Wessons or some garbage sunglasses or safety glasses that they don't fit right. They suck. Like you said, sweat drips in your eyes. There's always but they're cheap. And the contractors love that because it meets the standard and it's cheap. So here you go. But I like that option because dudes will buy whatever. Like I always bought all my own gear because I didn't like what was supplied usually. Right.
And that's the problem. Again, you solve the company's problem, right? You go in there and you say, hey, you guys are wearing non-approved safety glasses. They're not approved by the company. Any eye injury, you're gonna go under. Like you're gonna get sued. This guy's gonna get his check. And I was like, let's try to get rid of some liabilities here. Get you some safety sunglasses. I was like, just for example, I'll tell them buy this one and that's it. Put the poster and let them buy anything else, and they do it because guys love to wear diversity. They like different colors and different styles, and then they get shirts and hats on their way out. So it's a win-win for everyone. I try to help the employees and I try to help the company.
Yeah.
So that's like the back side of it, like the other side of the business.
It's like when I was talking to Landon Dees about the Lineman bucket products, like I said, what's your top seller? And he's like, you'll never believe it, but the top seller is actually like the lanyards. He calls them the Me Too items, like the other little things.
Stickers.
Exactly. The other little things that you get on the way out the door. But that's what somebody like listening to this that has that same entrepreneur soul that you do, and like that's good for them to hear, because don't just think about this product, like start thinking about the other little things that you could because that could really help inflate your numbers to help you keep going and do another round of revisions on your glasses and all those things. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's 100 companies out there that do safety glasses, right? But can everyone solve both the employee and the companies?
Yeah.
That's where it gets complicated, and then a little bit of marketing comes in. And like you said, I give these out for free. I give bundles out for free when you sign up for our newsletters. People love this. People love stickers. These are hard hat stickers. I mean, we got some funny ones, and I can't tell you how much I give these away when I do the lineman rodeos.
Yep.
Oh man, I see people looking at them and they start laughing. Like, for example, we got you've seen these probably around, but we make them into our own, like no bullshit.
Yeah.
Come on. And then when I tell groundmen to give this to their linemen. No crybaby lineman, you know.
That's
so we got a
awesome.
lot of stickers, and then who doesn't like to slap a sticker on their hard hat, right?
Everybody.
So yeah, on their way out, they'll grab a sticker bundle and actually promotes, because people are gonna be like, "Where'd you get those stickers?" Wye Delta.
What sort of other adversity have you had to go through and push through, and then what did that look like?
Damn, what would be a good one? I think one of the hurdles that I encountered with safety glasses is the safety man wants to see the stamp, right? And this right here, it's not C87 plus, it's C87. So the difference between C87 and C87 plus is the testing, right? So C87 gets tested only on the front, which is the lens, which has to be PC 2.3 millimeter thick. And if you want the C87 plus, either the frame wraps around you or you add the side shield, right? So you have the side shield here that you just slide in here, and now you got that C87 plus. But it became a problem because not everybody wears it, right? So the fact that you can remove it, people, safety man would be like, no, guys, remove the side shields. We can't do that. So I think that's one of the another problem that we had to work with, and we're now trying to incorporate it within the frame. But again, maybe it's not going to sell as much because they don't want the side shield. So
Yeah, I get it.
Nobody does.
I don't know, dude. Like I got a 20-year-old son. He's my oldest son, and he shot me a text the other day. He works at a winery doing pizzas, and he's like, "Dad, I got something in my eye." He got a new car, and he was cutting the hitch off the car, and he got a piece of metal. He's like, "I think I got a piece of metal in my eye." And I'm like, "Nolan, when did this happen?" And he's like, "Oh, yesterday when I was at Grandpa's house cutting my hitch off my car." And I'm like, "And you're at work right now?" He's like, "Yeah, do you think I should leave work?" And I'm like, "Dude, like, you don't mess with your eyes, dude. You only got 2 of them.
Yeah.
And like, you don't fuck around with these things." Like I said, close your eye if you can, cover it up, and go straight to the hospital. And he's like, well, do you think I should just wash it out? I'm like, no, like
it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way, dude. So
No,
I ended up getting him because he couldn't close his eye because it was right in the center. And when he closed it, it actually hurt more. So I get him to the hospital, and sure as shit, he's got a piece of metal and a piece of rust stuck directly to his lens. And I was like, this is a great lesson for you. Like, he's okay. He was going to be okay once he saw the optometrist. Like, it's going to be okay. He was able to remove it, but it was still something that's like, you don't fuck around with this shit. Like, you don't mess around with this. It's your eyes. And I can't stress that to people. Like, how many times, I don't know, you've done this. I've cut corners with glasses before too, where, I'm not wearing the right ones, or I'm wearing like designer glasses, and safety glasses go on when the safety guy shows up. But like, I know there's lots of people out there that do this, but here's a guy like yourself solving the problem, and just wear the right shit, man. Like, there's options out there.
And that's all it takes. And I have a lot of customers that will email me pictures and like a huge essay of being so grateful because they've gotten hit in the face or their eyes, and they were wearing Wye Delta. So one of the guys was like, "Hey, dude, like I was strapping one of those chain hoists, and it snapped, and the secondary wire came and hit him right in the eye." But he's like, "Yeah, it knocked the glasses off my face, but my eye was completely fine." He's like, "You have gained yourself a 100% loyal customer for the rest of your life." Yep. And I like to post that on my Instagram. Of course, I asked him permission if I could post that story so people can realize how important it is. Yeah, it's not going to happen every day or to everyone, but it can happen.
Yeah.
Right? It can happen. So why not wear something that you're like, okay, let me go cut this wire in the clear, and then just, all right, let me look good, and then, all right, cut. Take them off. And if you get hit, I mean, these aren't $150, $200 glasses. They're $75. So if we replace them a lot. When people say, hey, you know, my lens scratch, it's all right, dude, we'll swap them out. We got you covered. We don't want to lose you as a customer.
Yeah.
So we actually replace the frames when they break. We replace them. We take care of our customer. We want them to be safe more than anything. So yeah, I like to post this on my Instagram. You'll come across it quite often where I'll have a story and people actually go in there and comment like, wow, that's pretty interesting. You know, it's good to be wearing your safety glasses.
I had a buddy that was, he was trying to, I think he was trying to peel armor rod off of like a big transmission conductor, like a 636 or something.
Right.
And he had his screwdriver and, you know, like you're just working, right? And he's digging it in there, trying to like dig it out. And it was like pointing back towards his face. I don't know what glasses he was wearing, but they were like good safety glasses. Anyway, the screwdriver skipped off the armor and he was pulling towards himself. Screwdriver skipped off the armor and he stabbed himself straight in the face. Oh. But he was wearing good safety glasses. It skipped off the glasses, hit himself in the forehead, gouged his forehead good, but that could have been his eyeball. Like straight towards his eye. He could have stabbed himself in the freaking eye. And it happened so fast.
Yeah, I have a video on Instagram how good of an impact these are. So I shot these with my 12 gauge shotgun from about, I want to say 30 yards, maybe 25, 30 yards, and nothing happened. I mean, yeah, it cracked and you can see the dent, but the bullet never went through. Yeah. And I posted that on Instagram as well. People can see how safe it is and how durable they are. So yeah, it's always good to be wearing your right glasses. And again, not everybody likes Wye Delta, but eventually we're gonna have so many styles that, you know, it might fit your needs. You know,
it takes time. It takes time to build a company, right? Like you're still working full time as well, trying to build this on the side, right? And it's obviously still not at the point where you can step away from your other job and just be with Wye Delta full time yet, right?
Right. So I can, but the problem is I just had a newborn too, so the benefits and stuff like that, and I have to add that to the list and the mortgage, and so it's a little concerning. So I'm gonna give it maybe less than a year. I want to say a year max, where I can just build enough foundation to be comfortable. You know, so and then I can start dedicating myself and building more and more and designing more. And I take people's criticism when people email me or send me messages like, hey, you know, this sucked. I don't like this part of the glasses. All right, let me take notes. And if I get that email 3, 4, 5 times, then that's where I go, all right, it's an issue. Let's fix it. And I don't have like the Lokes style, so maybe I'm going to add that next. But it's one step at a time, trial and error, you know, so little by little, we're building a good foundation. I feel like we're building a great company. And at the Lineman rodeos, people always tell me, dude, we love your glasses. We love the brand. And I have such a great time with these guys. I'm not sure if you've been to a Lineman rodeo before. Dude, these guys come, they bring me beer, and I'm out there drinking beer with them or taking shots, and I'm trying to, you know, communicate with them, and they love it. They love to see the face of the company. Yeah. I own it. I'm there. I hang out with them. I talk to them. I go to the rodeos the same ones every year. People come up to me, hey man, how you been? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't remember you, but hey man, you know, let's have a beer. Why not? You know, so it's always amazing to be in this industry and have the luxury to come up with the product. And anyone that's out there at any climbing school, I will always recommend, or even right now, if you're at work and you know you can better a tool, a product, or a safety equipment, then go for it, you know, pursue it, draw it out, find someone that can say, hey, we can actually make this into a real thing and make it happen. You know, there's enough room for everyone.
Heck yeah. I've been talking to a guy that's in the industry as well. He likes to stay anonymous because whatever, he's got his reasons for it, but he's also working on businesses on the side, and he says he has the same sort of struggle too. So like, again, anyone out there that's wanting to start a business, wondering, you know, when can I step away from my regular job and go full bore on the business?
Right.
Things like a W-2, like you said, benefits, a W-2, like really the banks want to see that if you're trying to get mortgages and things like that. They want to see that you got a stable job. So it's really hard to just like, hey, I'm a founder of a company, I'm an entrepreneur. The banks go, okay, well, I don't want to risk lending you money for that house or whatever. So you really got to get to a point. You got to grind for a while, right? Like you got to grind. You got to do that regular job as long as you can. And then do this on the side.
And then this, absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I don't know if I want to say this out loud, but yeah, the point is you want to avoid paying all these taxes, especially in California.
And you can say that. It's like
you don't touch the money. Leave it there in your business. It's a liability. You don't get taxed on that. So I leave it there. You know, I bought myself a brand new truck, but it's company truck, so it tax-free. I don't have to pay tax on that, and it's a write-off because it's over the weight limit of a commercial vehicle. So that's just kind of like little perks that you can enjoy of having that side business where you're like, okay, I bought a truck. Now my truck's registered LLC. So, all right, if shit hits the fan, economy, goes down, nobody wants to buy glasses, I lose my company, all right, they could take the truck. It's not going to affect my credit. It's not going to affect my life. It's all the business, and I don't mind it. I'm always prepared for the worst case scenario. So it's beautiful perks. It's, ins and out. You start learning this as you go, as you meet accountants and people that work in taxes, and they help you out. And absolutely,
it's a hard thing for people to learn, though. And this is what, like, I also have a small business, and it helps me write off a portion of my home, write off portion of my vehicle, like just all of these little things that people don't realize. When you're dumping those after-tax dollars, those dollars you're earning at work into things like that, like it really disappears fast. But if you can have like a small business even and just run that small business in a few extra hours in the evening or the weekends, you can really make a world of difference in like all these little things, like little holidays that you can end up writing off because they're a business trip.
Absolutely.
And you lined up meetings there, and you get to go enjoy good food, which you can also write off. And like,
brand new TV for the office,
dude, seriously though, like, but that's,
you know what I'm saying?
That's America though. Like really, like that's what it's about. And lots of people don't take that chance and try to start that.
Like Donald Trump said, hey, the code is there. I'm using it.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah, man. If it's legal, I'm doing it. Why not? Yeah, so that's always, it's amazing. Every year, me and my family take on 2 trips, but one of the trips I put it on the business, and you're allowed to do that once a year.
Yep.
So there you go. And I get being scared. It's normal. It's not easy. I've been doing this for 5 years now. I've learned so much within those 5 years that it's like easier for me to just pull a trigger on something than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It took a lot of guts for me to get on that plane and fly overseas to I don't know where and start this. But when I came back, that was my first lesson. Don't be afraid to do it. Because you'll gain. And now 5 years later, I'm like super grateful that I did it. And at the time I wasn't married, but my wife now, she was my girlfriend then. She was there. She asked me, she's like, how much money did you invest? I was like, all of it. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah. I had $15,000 in the bank account. I dumped every single penny of it. I didn't have a house. I didn't have a car payment. I didn't care. And I was working as a contractor. Working 100 plus hours. I didn't care. I took that risk. Sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith, that risk, and if it happens, then good. And by the way, you're the one that makes it happen. And if it doesn't happen, then you always have something to fall back on. In this industry, you always have something to fall back on. So, it's just don't be scared of that.
This is what I was telling my son the other day too, because he's trying to get his feet off the ground and trying to get going in life, and he's 20. And I said, no, like, you don't have a few things. Like, you don't have any money and you don't have a network. So go work a job where you can earn an income, and then take whatever extra you can, like live very bare bones, take whatever extra you can
Right.
and start investing that in yourself, in a business, or just other investments that could pay you back eventually. Because what you do have
Right.
going for you is time. You're 20. Your 20s suck anyway. Like they really do. So
Yeah.
get as much knowledge as you can in your 20s so that your 30s and 40s and 50s are all set up for you. Like
Absolutely.
I said, gain knowledge. So invest in yourself. So buy courses, like find somebody that you can learn from that's going to put knowledge back into you, and just learn. And then network, because your network equals cash later. Like it's the people
Absolutely.
you know, and you don't know shit right now. You don't know anybody and you don't know anything. So learn,
Right.
spend every dollar you have on learning and networking. And that's going to set up your 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Absolutely. And again, majority of the time we tell ourselves, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, but we don't do it. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like get it done, and don't be discouraged by not seeing a progress within your first year or second year. I didn't see progress until my third, fourth year.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh man, this is really good. But the first, second year, I never lost courage. I never said, you know what, I'm giving up. I'm just going to let it go. There was a point where I was like, I was getting 0 sales, maybe 2-3 times out of the week, $0, zero. And I was like, man, what is going on? And I didn't know that advertising is key to success in this industry. That's it. And I lacked that knowledge, but then I learned, right? So it took me 5 years to finally get to where I wanted to be. Hopefully, I was hoping I'd be here 3 years ago, but I'm here 5, and that's fine, because 5 years from now, I'm going to be somewhere where I thought I couldn't be.
Dude.
And that's just how it is. Don't let down. The moment you let down on something, it's over. You know, just keep pushing for it, and it's going to happen. What you put into this life is what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah. Too many kids as well, like too many young people in their 20s, they're all concerned about like this work-life balance, and they're so negative on things like hustle culture. And it's like, show me your bank account then, because you're broke. Like if you're talking that way and you're going to be broke, like it's going to take 10 years of grinding and hustle. Like put your head down for 10 years. But I guarantee after 10 years, if you do that, pull your head back up, you're going to be somewhere a lot different, and you're going to be happy about it.
Right. One of the questions that I ask my brother all the time, my brother's 24. He just actually bought his first house. I'm very proud of my brother. So I asked him, I was like, Brian, his name's Brian. I was like, what would you wish if you were in high school again, would you do things different? Oh, he's like, yeah, with the things that I know now, absolutely. I was like, okay, well, you're 24. When you're 34, you're going to ask yourself the same question. When I was 24, would I have done things different? Yeah, you're always going to look back and say, yeah, I could have. So why don't you start now?
Yeah.
So that when you're 27, 28, you're there where you want to be. It's like you said, 20s are, party life and whatnot, but forget about that. Do it when you're in your 30s, when you can afford this stuff, right? So I always tell people that, like, if you would have changed yourself 10 years ago, what makes you think you're not going to want to do that 10 years from now?
100%.
Look back at yourself and be like, man, I wish instead of watching a TV show, I would have started a business. And you're always going to do that.
I saw Ryan Serhant say that actually recently as well. He's like, he said, I try my best. He's like, this is advice I give to everybody. He's like, I try my best to be the person I want to be 10 years from now today. He's like, who do I want to be 10 years from now? I try my best. He's like, I know I can't be that person, but I envision who that person is. And I try to be that person today. And I try to do that every single day. And I was like, wow, that's unreal. Because if I look back 10 years ago and think where I am today versus where I was 10 years ago, and if I just tried to live to be this person, like it's such great advice if you can strive for that every day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and it happens. I mean, sometimes we lack off. I do it myself too.
100%.
I'm guilty of
Human.
it. You know, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to lay back in the couch today and watch a TV show. But I like to watch, you know, action movies or what is it called? I like to watch interesting shows like Suits. You ever seen the show Suits?
100%.
Dude, I look at these guys and
Mike
they're
and Harvey.
so smart. And yeah, Mike and Harvey. And I tell my wife, like, man, it pays off to be smart.
Yeah.
Whether it's communicating with someone, convincing someone, or changing someone's point of view. I was like, and it pays off. So I was like, I wish I was that smart, but then I'm like, well, wishing is not going to do anything for me. I want to be that smart. I have to read. I have to educate myself on how can I communicate like these guys. And I like to watch stuff like that that'll help me.
Yeah.
Not stuff that comedy shows are, yeah, they're funny and all, but you don't really learn much from it. So I try to do the best I can to, the moment I want to take some time off, do something proactive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I used to play video games. I used to play video games all the time. Call of Duty, FIFA, I'm into soccer. And it came to the point where I stopped because it really brought nothing good to me.
Yeah.
I wasted a lot of time on it. I'll still play here and there, but very, very rarely. It's very rarely where I play. And that's where you start making those decisions. Like 10 years from now, I'm not going to have a video game console. That's not what I want. You know, I want to have a nice house. I want to be out at a beach house or something. So get rid of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. It's really hard.
A good way to
really
do
hard
that
to
as
do.
well is like, okay, well, like, what are those goals that you have? And then start working backwards of how you get and attain those goals. So say like a goal is you want to have a house and, you know, be married, have kids, whatever that is. It's like, okay, say that's 10 years away, like make that your goal. It's 10 years away and then start working backwards to where you are now. It's like, if you're unemployed, sitting on your couch, playing video games on welfare, well, how are you going to get that house? It's probably not going to happen. You know, like, what do I need to make every year in order to get down payment? It's like, I don't know, start working backwards, pick a point, pick a subject, pick a point, pick a goal, and start working your way backwards. And then that'll show you the steps on how to get there. But people don't take the time to do that. And I think that that's an important step.
One of my favorite speeches was, and I'm sorry, I forget his name. He was in the Marine Corps, and he says the first thing you want to do when you wake up is make your bed. Because how many times you wake up and you go straight to the bathroom, brush your teeth, and you're kind of like lazied out, drowsy, you just go about your day. Okay, well, he says when you make your bed in the morning, you already accomplished your first task. Yeah. You're already awake. Mentally, you're like, okay, I'm clean. When I come home, I'm going to come home to a clean bed. Not a messed up blankets and comforters or whatever you want to call it, you know. And he's like, from that moment, your day is going to be proactive, productive. It's going to be positive, and you're just going to feel good about yourself. And I do that, and it works. You know, going to work and just your lousy clothes sometimes can be a factor of why you're lazy sometimes. What about wear something clean every day, shave, tuck in your shirt, put some cologne on, smell good, do your hair. That changes everything. And I love that speech that I heard from this Marine Corps. I wish I remembered his name, but it helps me a lot to remember. If I clean my house every day, then I'm good. But if I have a dirty house, I have a dirty car, and I'm dirty, like I don't feel good. I'm like, it stops you from being better. 100%. So getting those things done helps you get other things done first. So that's why I always try to do the best I can to keep a clean desk, organize files, and it helps me. Otherwise, I don't want to deal with this. It's too much mess. You know what I'm saying?
I heard another version.
Sound?
Yeah, it's all good. This is I accidentally bumped it and ripped it out of my head.
Okay, no worries.
But I heard another version of that was, it was if the thing that you need to do is going to take you less than a minute to do, just do the thing. And that's also another win or two wins. Like if putting that thing away is going to take you less than 2 minutes, or making your bed is going to take it less than 2 minutes, just do the thing. And you start like if you just continually do that, you're going to start stacking wins all day long that are really going to amount to something bigger, right?
Right. You keep that positive attitude. You keep that positive mentality where, all right, I'm going to wait instead of, drowsing off as you're driving because you didn't complete a task yet.
Yeah.
You just got to put your shoes on, get out. No, do your bed, look at yourself in the mirror, shave, trim, do your thing, put some cologne, some perfume, whatever. Smell good and watch that not change your lifestyle.
Yeah. You said you're a new father?
Yes, I had a newborn last month.
Dang, dude. What have you learned from having a kid so far?
Wow. So I already have almost a 2-year-old. So he's a year and 10 months. He'll be 2 in October. Actually, that's next month, isn't it? No, September.
2 months.
So
yeah.
2 months. Yeah, 2 more months. And
don't scare me like that.
I know. I've learned that I am their example, right? So my son mocked me for the first time when he was 6 months. And I was sitting there watching TV. We're getting ready to go to bed, me and my wife. And I yawned. I was like, ooh. And my son looked at me. He was on my chest. He looks at me. He goes, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this kid just did that. And now everything I do, he does. And I'm like, I'm an example. So if my kids, I want them to be successful, I want them to have a great life, then I have to show them that. Sometimes actions speak more than words, correct? So if they see me just talking, but then I'm sitting on the couch every day, then it means nothing to them. But if I'm out there washing my car and cleaning my house and taking care of business, they're going to see it and they're going to want to do it. I know that for a fact, right? So big example as well. I mean, my dad played soccer growing up. Why do I like soccer? Well, because I saw my dad playing soccer. But if my dad grew up playing baseball, I would like baseball. So I know for a fact that I'm going to be an example for those kids. So if I want those kids to grow up well-educated, mentally prepared, I have to show them that. I can't just tell them that. So That's something that I've learned in the past year and 10 months.
I love that. Yeah. Love that. That's great advice.
Absolutely.
What's some advice for the new guys getting either into the trade or let's as well want to start a business, get into entrepreneur, start a business, run a business? What's your 2 pieces of advice? One for the trades guys and one for the business guys.
For the trade guys, once you're getting in the industry, you are going to encounter that jackass foreman or lineman, and you just have to suck it up, right? So I remember when I was at EPC, his name was Tyler. He was my foreman, and I didn't know much yet. I had been in the industry for maybe like 5 months already, and I remember he said, "Hey, go put that down guide on that pole," and I was like, "How do you do it?" He's like, "You're fucking serious? You don't know how to fucking put a down guide?" Fucking da da da. And he goes off on a rampage, and one of the apprentices was like, "Dude, come on, I'll show you." And he started showing me, and he came and shoved me out of the way and him out of the way. And he started doing it himself. I got to do everything myself, blah, blah, blah. He's like, "Don't say anything. Just, go about it your day." But it got to the point where I did say something. I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Listen, I'm a man on my own. I get it. I don't know this stuff. It's fine. But if you teach me something right now and tomorrow you have to tell me again, tell me I'm a dumbass. Yell at me, curse me out, punch me in the face. I don't care because maybe I deserve it." I was like, "But teach me, man. Like, let me help me become better." Right. And then that foreman actually started liking me because I've confronted him, but I actually did what was told. And I try to do the best I can. Always keep a notepad with your pen and write things down because you will forget. And every time I forget, he'd go off. But for the most part, I do the best I can to always remember what I'm told. And for the guys that want to pursue a dream in the entrepreneurship or want to create a product, make it useful, right? Don't try to make something that's already out there just in a different shape. Make it where you can help both the utility and the employees or members of the union, because you don't want to just compete. You want to stand out. What makes you different? Be different. So
actually solve a problem.
Actually solve a problem. Yeah. Right. It's easy to come up with a product or a tool, but solve the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I got one more for you. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self and give that guy some advice, or just say something to them, what would you want that 18-year-old to know that would be beneficial with what you know now?
Oh, life is not that easy. It's not as easy as it seems. Back then, I didn't pay rent, right? I lived at my parents. I didn't buy food. I didn't spend money in the house. I was always going out. And one thing I would tell myself is I would have loved to learn more about becoming a better person, because that helps you in every aspect of life, on how to become a salesman, how to become an entrepreneur, how to become a friend, a family member, so I'd go back and I'd like to learn more about how to become a better person. That's helped me a lot. So definitely we'll go over there and slap that 18-year-old kid.
Love it. Love that, dude. Love that so much. Well, I've enjoyed talking to you, and appreciate the time, and thanks for being on the show, dude.
No, I appreciate you having us on, Ryan. Like I said, I sent you guys some gifts out there. Hopefully you get them soon.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you guys, what you do. You have something awesome going on, and just spread the word, man. Spread joy and positive attitude all the time. That helps people. It's beautiful.
Tell people where they find your products, where they see what you have to
Absolutely.
offer.
So we have in social media, you can find us on Instagram. It's WYE_Delta, or you can just go on our website. It's WYE-Delta.com. We offer a lot of products, hats, t-shirts, anything you guys like out there. We do have free stickers. So the sticker bundles, if you sign up, you just pay for shipping. It's not expensive. It's like $5, and you get a free sticker bundle, so you can get a feel of our product and how much work we put into it. We put a lot of pride in our work, right? So again, trial and error. We're working every day to make it better and better.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I hope you guys got some value out of that episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I just want to draw your awareness to a couple of other things. So we make these podcasts, yes, but it's not the only thing that we put out as far as content. Our social medias are full of valuable cuts from the podcast itself, as well as just a bunch of other educational stuff and entertainment. So go follow us at Powerline Podcast on all social media platforms, and then also YouTube. I don't think that a lot of you are aware of this, but we don't just load these podcasts onto YouTube. We also make vlogs, which are super educational, entertaining, great place to direct people to learn about the industry, learn about the trade, or just learn about what's going on within either Quanta or the Powerline industry in general. So hit up our YouTube channel. Again, it's at Powerline Podcast. You can catch those vlogs on there. We also load a bunch of other extra content in video form. We try to up the quality every time we do this. We try to up that quality. So hit up the YouTube channel and make sure you're subbed to all those platforms. Appreciate you guys. Hope to see you again soon. We'll see you again soon. Peace.